Good morning. Or whenever you are watching this. I do not normally go live at this hour. I actually normally have a class at this time. But I wanted to go on ahead and get this word from the Lord out. I believe God has a testimony that He wants me to share. So I'm going to see if anybody's up and at 'em this morning that wants to hear me. And we shall see, we shall see. All right. Just giving it a couple minutes. Hey, I got somebody. Good morning. Hope you're having a great morning. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. All right. It's Miss Patricia, Minister Patricia. How are you? So I wanted to, like I said, get this testimony out that God wants me to share for a particular reason. I put a rather strong word on my page this morning about people that are feeling really depressed right now because of the inauguration or dealing with anger. And it was very strong. I said that I really believe you have a personal problem that you want to attend to. And I was not saying that facetiously. I'm saying that as a coach. I'm saying that with a PhD in Christian counseling. I am saying that as someone who can help you, but I'm not trying to advertise myself. It was very, what do I want to say? Like it hit me like a ton of bricks that God showed me that people who have been believing God for a particular outcome in the election, many of us have gotten the image of the Red Sea parting. And we've been using that imagery. And God said to me, what happened after the Red Sea parted and I did that amazing miracle for them? They walked around the wilderness and a lot of them complained. A lot of them complained. And in fact, so many complained and got out of faith. How many of those people that God rescued with a huge Red Sea miracle made it into the promised land? The number of people watching right now, 2. That should be very sobering. That should be very sobering, as many of us are still believing for a Red Sea moment to happen, because we're not talking about some election. We're not talking about political parties. We're just talking about saving our nation. And we believe that God will save our nation. We believe incredible things are happening right now. But how many of the people that God rescued actually made it into the promise of God? That is sobering. So I believe that things can get better with time, right? Like I saw somebody, and good morning, Kermit. Yeah, Kermit has the right answer, and I know Patricia knows too, or whoever's watching, 2 people. So we really need to take heed. We really need to take heed and consider our ways right now. And so I'm hoping that a ton of people get to watch this later, but a lot of people could benefit from what I'm saying. So, like I said, I'm just going to put it out here. I want to share with you that the reason I have the faith I have is because faith is the evidence of things hoped for. What is evidence? It's proof. I do not have blind faith. People might be looking at me and say, wow, you know, she has so much faith, she's so bold or whatever. I don't have blind faith. I have evidence. I have proof. because of the times that my back has been against the wall and I did not abort God's process. I allowed that faith to work patience in me, or, my hope and my belief and my situations. And I ended up having real faith birthed in me because I didn't abort it yesterday or sometime. I was talking about the fact that, sometimes God puts you through a situation. He's trying to build this faith and this character in you. And it gets to a place where there are no human options. And so some people, if they're believing for money, they go ahead and they just get the money from somewhere God told you not to. If some people are believing for a spouse, they go ahead and marry someone God did not approve of. And so you aborted you aborted God's process to teach you real faith. So some people look at me like I've got two heads because my faith is in a place that a lot of people's are not, but it's not blind faith. It's only that I didn't abort the process that produces faith. So I wanted to come and encourage you with a testimony, because if you didn't allow a situation to produce this kind of faith in you, you could partner with somebody who did. And then you have to choose what to believe, your experience or what, the person's telling you. So I wanted to share with you all my testimony for with my husband. So a lot of you saw that I got an engagement ring several weeks ago, a month ago. And I know you're congratulating me, and we are going to have a public wedding, so it is worthy of congratulations. But I actually married this man without a ring a while ago, okay? And we did it for us. We did it to honor God. So I told some people I would never lie if I was asked, but we did it for us, and we did it between us and God. I want to tell you how that testimony started. So Johnny and I met in 2015, and in 2014, in November, I'm going to say, I believed I received a word from the Lord in conjunction with that I was very desirous to get married, okay? That I was going to be married next year. And yeah, this is how it happened. I remember the conversation. I said, God said, "What do you want, Felicity?" And I said, "I want to be married." And he's like, "You'll get married next year." Cool, right? Like, I'm so psyched. At this point, I had left a 12-year marriage, or we had dissolved our 12-year marriage. That was not fun. But I would not be the woman I am today without it, for sure. I understand what trials do. I get it. And I have no illusions about what that trial did for me. It was powerful, changed my life, and I'm very grateful for that marriage, and grateful for my children's father. So, that, okay, and then it had been 4 years. And yeah, I was super desirous to get married, and it was really kind of flying in the face of some things because I had a lot of financial problems, and I had other things I should have been focusing on, but I really wanted to be married. And it's like kind of hard because well, God worked it out, but you can get as a woman in a situation where you're kind of wanting to be married and fix the financial problems with the same swish, which I know if some of the men, Rob and Kermit, if you're still watching, and thank you for the congratulations. But you may have ever experienced that. You kind of feel from this woman that she's actually wanting you to solve her financial problems. And I'm not, gonna lie that would have been a double blessing, but I really wanted to be married. Outside of the financial problems, it was just my strongest desire. And it all really kind of always has been to have a good marriage and raise my children in a happy home. That was sort of my dream that didn't get to happen. So I'm like, God, I just really want to be married, so that was on the real. And God honored me and he said, "You'll be married next year." Now, that wasn't the first conversation God and I had about this, so but that was the conversation where I found out that I'd be married the next year. So, uh, you know, pretty exciting. I go to church and I'm just going to put it out here because this person doesn't watch my lives. So I don't care. It just is what it is. Um, I go to church and I tell someone that I'm semi close to. Um, and I'm like, oh my gosh, God told me I'm going to be married next year. And she said, I believed that I was going to be married this year. Now, remember that this is November, I'm talking to this girl. And what she essentially did was poop on my dream. I mean, how else can you say it? She crapped right on this. I was all excited. And what could I do? I mean, I was in faith. I was excited. I just told her, like, the year's not over. I mean, obviously it's not looking good, but my God, I just, people are amazing, right? And good morning, Yvette. And so, that's the whole situation with Joseph's brothers, right? You got to be careful who you tell your dream to. But this was not, like, I did not see that coming, that discouragement from her. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it didn't feel great. I wasn't real stoked. And, not, it's not like I had any prospects. Like, I wasn't like hoping it was going to be this particular person. I was needing to meet someone and get married, next year. So anyway, yeah, she just totally pooped on my dream. Okay, so I went home and I'm like talking to God now and I'm like, wow, that wasn't awesome. Good morning, Brandy. And God said, "Oh yeah, seriously? Why don't you go back to her and ask her uh if I ever gave her an instruction to follow in regard to meeting her dream?" And oh, good morning. I'm super early, aren't I? Oh, Beverly, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. BE True Heart. Um for not remembering your name right now. So anyway, so I see her at church the next time I see her and I say, "Hey," or I might have called her. I'm just going to think, no, no, no. I waited till I saw her at church. Maybe church was recent cuz I didn't really want to wait. And I said, "Hey, did God ever like tell you to do something, in order to be married?" Because like I said, I had been talking to God about wanting to be married and he was giving me instructions that I was following. And went through Brenda. Good Lord, thank you. Um so I was, going through this process with God, which was very interesting, maybe a testimony for another time. But so I go and I say, "Did God ever give you an instruction to this girl and, in order to be married?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I think he did." I was like, "Oh, what was it?" "Oh, to cut my hair." Okay. Now, I know this girl, right? So I know what her hair has been and I know what it is now, and it ain't cut. It's like really long. So I'm like, "And?" "Well, I've been out of work this year and, I like to go to so and so stylist and I didn't have the money for it." And I'm sorry, what is this story you are telling me right now? If God told me that in order to meet my spouse, I just needed to cut my hair, grab a scissors, what is happening? And so I'm just nodding, like, mm hmm. Mm-hmm. "Oh, yeah, really? For sure? Oh, okay, cool. I'm listening." And I walked away from her so blessed and excited because I was like, oh, pff, you didn't want to really get married. You want things your way. Like you want control and stuff. That's not what I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about control. I'm talking about I want to be married. You know what I mean? And so obviously, if you can't follow an instruction, you're not ready to be married, regardless, whether you're a man or a woman. So, but I was set free. Thank you, God. Because I got to see, oh, this person didn't really want to be married. They would have cut their hair. That's dumb. Listen, even if it was like, because you can be wrong, you can hear from God incorrectly. So, what if you cut your hair and then you don't meet anyone? You were like, okay, my bad. But if it was God and now you're not married because you didn't cut your hair, can I tell you something? This person still is not married and has not cut her hair. Why am I saying this? Because God doesn't change his I have not experienced that God changes his instructions. I am telling you. Okay. So how does this apply to the current situation in this country? Um some of you guys just want control. And I've been seeing it the whole way along. It's like, oh, it's getting late, God. Oh, are you going to do anything? Come on, God. And da da da. Oh, you know what I mean? And then again, with the inauguration, and you are still freaking out, be honest that you want your way more than you want the end result. If you wanted the end result more than you wanted your way, you would chill. How many of your children have you blessed when they have a bad attitude? But that's not the issue, because I don't believe in all this God punishment stuff the way people believe it. I believe it happens, but it's really more of a sow and reap thing. And that's another reason you should be really confident that this country is going to go in a good direction, because the majority of people sowed the right thing. And God is going to honor that, which you would already know if you had allowed your trials to produce this patience in you. Okay? So, calm. That's right, Asar. Calm, man. Chill. You don't get anything. The real deal of it is, this is the real deal. It's what I said on my post this morning. We are in a position. Listen, God's going to open this Red Sea, okay? We're going to the other side. The promised land is going to happen regardless. But God is trying to get more people through the thing. And how about get more people into the promised land rather than two? God is going to deliver all of us through this Red Sea, and you're going to tell me only two are going to get in the promised land? No, I believe we can do better than that. But as a template, I am warning you not to be in that number of people that God delivered, brought through the Red Sea, and now are walking around the wilderness, what? Complaining. Totally forgot what God did. That's amazing. If you are still standing and believing that God is going to part this Red Sea, imagine now the Red Sea parting, you get through it, and now you're walking around a wilderness complaining. Why? Because of the way you are going through this trial. If you cannot figure out how to go through this trial in greater faith, you are going to be one of those delivered through the Red Sea and now walking around in the wilderness complaining. You have got to figure this out. You've got to heed this caution. So, having a good attitude is not Pollyanna. It's not for people who are naturally happy. It is to save your butt. Because you have lied to yourself that pessimism is realism. Total lie. Total lie. Most things have a 50-50 chance. So how is being pessimistic more realistic? That's a flat lie on its face. So it's not more realistic to be pessimistic. And what tips the scale to at least 51% of things working out well is God. God tips the scale. It's not 50-50 that things are going to go well for this country. It is way higher than that. It's way higher than that because of God. So, I told you the end of the story from the beginning. I totally disregarded that person who crapped on my dream. And I began, because I saw why she did that. And so I believed I was going to be married in 2015. And the man who married me is watching. Asar. It totally happened. It totally happened. Because I ignored the doubters, and I was way more careful about who I shared that with. Whoa. Like 2 other people that are majorly committed to me, that have already seen, that I have the ability to believe crazy stuff. So they've walked with me. Like, I'm like, I am not having nobody crap on the stream anymore. But if you do, it's a personal problem. And I got to see that from the last person. So I wasn't worried about it. I just, I'm trying to birth something here. So I'm not really trying to have all kinds of attacks in the birthing process. Like, let me get the thing out. You know what I'm saying? Or let me get the thing in and germinating and growing. I don't need to be fighting lions and tigers and bears, when I'm trying to manifest. Like I said, I didn't know. It's not like I was dating a guy and I was hoping he would propose. I didn't have nobody. So, and it had been a minute. So, I needed to produce the whole thing. So I wanted to tell that testimony so that you could see, like, I wasn't born like this. I wasn't born with a ton of faith. I have proof. I got the receipts. And I understand how God works. This whole situation is so perfect because it's not happening the way we want it. And that's only one testimony of me with my back against the wall and needing to produce something and all that stuff. It doesn't go the way you want it. And then I know it's God. All human options removed. Then I know it's God. You know what I'm saying? And it gives me that confidence to cling to the word from the Lord that I received. And it really simplifies life. If you would like to make your life simpler, less complicated, I am telling you the secret sauce. Like, hear from God, obey God, do not waver off of what God said. Hear from God, believe God, watch life fall the frick apart, and go back to believing God. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. It's just simple. Like, simple, it means you can remember it. There's not like 80 steps. There's no 80 steps. Hear from God, believe what he says, watch life fall the heck apart, and go back to believing God. That is the majority of cases. And I mean, if you want to figure out why the whole fall apart thing is, you go ahead. I mean, I don't really care why. Some people think we're already in heaven. Fine, you can think that. I don't think that. I think that's one of the reasons why. Is because we're not in heaven yet. I can't just know what God wants, say it, begin to pursue, and then bing. And I think it's because we're not in heaven. That's what I think. That could be one explanation. Because of what it produces in us, that could be another explanation, the faith. Because without faith, it's impossible to please God. That's in Hebrews. Might be 4. But you can't please God without faith. And so you get an opportunity to please God with your faith. And you will also be quite pleased. You will also be unshakable, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. You will not need things to go your way. So this is a fantastic opportunity to let go of that spirit of control and allow God to do what he wants to do. And in addition, as an added bonus, you will get to enter the promised land. You do not want to be one of those people that experiences this amazing miracle from God and then you're walking around complaining. Why? And this is the lie. You think, "No, no, once God does the miracle, I won't complain." Yes, you will. Because God's never going to do things the way you want them, but he will give you the end result. The only time that things begin to happen more the way you want it is when you lay that whole thing down, when you get rid of your opinion. And then, but see, you've already gotten rid of your opinion. So then, but you'll have things happen. You'll be like, "Ooh, I kind of like that." Like, yeah, I like the way this is happening. Yeah, it'll be that way when you stop being controlling. It's just the bottom line. You do not need to have an opinion on the way God does something. You do not need to have an opinion on the way God does something. God is doing an amazing job. And that's what I tell him when I pray. "You're doing an amazing job. You're awesome. Like, wow, look at you." And then what happens is I get confirmation from everywhere that what I'm believing for is going to happen because I'm in alignment. So stay in alignment, recognizing you are the human with a spark of God. He is the God with the all of God. So you need to chill. I love you guys, and I will see you the next time God gives me a word for you. Thank you for all the comments because I'll be looking at them later.